All right, Washington and Stanford. We've got Washington 26.5-point road favorites, 59.5 the total in this game. I would only lay it with Washington here. And this is like last week, I thought it was a good spot to take Arizona State. It proved that way. Now you're going to have Washington and coming into this game thinking, you know what? Last week, we didn't play the way this Washington Huskies team is capable of in any phase of football, especially on offense. I think Michael Penix Jr. in particular is going to look at that game and say, I need to be a whole lot better. I mean, just to see him go 275 with no touchdown passes and 2 interceptions, that did a dent to his Heisman case, quite honestly, Michael Penix Jr. I think he's still probably got a good chance to win it because he still won the game in the end, even though it wasn't pretty last week, but it definitely dented his resume for the Heisman. And I think if you're Washington, you have to come back here on the road and say, you know what, we got to get back to looking like we did before last week. I think you lay it or you pass on this game. You either lay the big number with Washington. I think they're actually going to be fired up to show that last week was an aberration. We played that poorly, especially on offense. So this might be a Washington first half full game split, but I know I don't want Stanford. We saw Stanford last week against a really good team in UCLA, and you could say Washington's every bit as good, if not better, than UCLA. So, and I think they've got the focus this week, Washington, to bounce back after what they know, even though they won, was a shoddy effort against Arizona State last week. What do you think, Conor?
Yeah, and Stanford, I forgot to hit on with UCLA. Garbers was really good. He just shredded them up. He started for UCLA. I think he threw for 260, and they even took him out because they were just whipping their ass. And maybe this move could be permanent. I don't know. Moore has made a lot of mistakes for them, but here I think Washington does come out better. This line's huge, though. This line is huge. But Bano, I think if you like Washington, maybe the first half, like you were saying, but I think you'd look team total. I think the offense gets back on track after just getting bogged down, turnovers. They had to settle for field goals. So I'd look that way with Washington, and it'll be tough. Can Stanford move the ball the big second half? And then last week, and we just talked about that UCLA defense is very, very good. So can they get anything done here? I'm not so sure.